Here's an important point, and we'll have a lot of new information here. The flight time for such missiles will be comparable to the threats we see coming against Russia. We know how we can do this, and we will implement these plans immediately as soon as we see such threats becoming real. I don't think that the international situation today I don't think that the international situation we have today requires further escalation immediately. This is not what we want. And I would like to add something. The United States once sought global domination through global missile defense program. They should abandon these illusions. We will always come up with an appropriate response. Our new weapon systems I mentioned in my State of the Nation address last year, this work continues consistently. We've launched the manufacturing of the Vanguard system. This year it will be supplied to the first regiment of the strategic missile forces. We are also continuing to test the Sarmat heavy missile, Peresvet, and hypersonic missiles, Kinjal, are being tested on combat duty, and our personnel have gained some experience of using this system. Soon, Peresvet will be commissioned and will be put on combat duty. We'll continue working on the MiG-31 fighter jets equipped with Kinjal missiles. We are also testing Burevestnik and our Poseidon unmanned subsurface vehicle with unlimited range. And one more point. This spring, we will launch our first nuclear submarine carrying this unmanned subsurface vehicle. Also, I will make another official announcement today about a new system. Remember last time I said there were certain things that it was too early to mention back then, but now the time has come for me to announce another new project. We've been working on this successfully, and when the time is right, we will complete this work. This is a hypersonic missile called Zircon. It has the speed of Mach 9. It has the range of 1,000 kilometers and can hit Navy and land targets. Can be launched from a ship or a submarine, and it can work together with the Caliber system, so it will not be too costly for Russia. To protect our national interests, for the next 2 or 3 years, 2 or 3 years ahead of the government procurement program, the Navy will receive 7 new submarines, and soon we'll start building 5 more major Navy ships.
Shalom, Yasharallah. This is your brother Dawada from GMS St. Petersburg, Florida, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahawah, Bahashim, YAHAWASHI, Bahashim, Rachakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity on the 4 corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to go ahead and touch on the topic real quick. As you can see in the video that was played beforehand, what you see is basically Russia is, preparing themselves, all right? They're so-called, retrofitting or they're modernizing or upgrading their military defense systems, all right, or their military equipment, all right. And as you know, Russia actually within the last couple of years, I was having this conversation with somebody not too long ago, and it was like, oh, well, Russia's always been this and that. I was like, nah, Russia's not always, Russia's been pretty much a broke country for a while, since basically the end of the Cold War. We wound up going over there and subverting those people and so on and so forth. And it wasn't until Vladimir Putin pretty much came back into office that, their economy started bouncing back and things like that, and they started you know, pretty much rebuilding the foundation of what you see today as Russia. All right. And really, hell, like I want to say in the last maybe year or 2 years, maybe they started unveiling all these new weapons. All right. This is now with, you know, what you see going on now. All right. But all these things was prophesied in the scriptures. All right. And not just that, you can take a look at these things. I'm going to pretty much read through a little bit of Ezekiel 38 and Jeremiah 50. All right. But nevertheless, as you can see through all these things. All right. Like most people know, like, you know, these so-called Christians, the truthers or whatever, whatnot, they'll compare Ezekiel 38 talking about Russia, right? But then they'll say that, you know, like Babylon, or like, you know, the Russians are coming up against the land, those Israelis over there or whatever, whatnot. And, you know, they're going to come and take down Israel or whatever. You know, when they read about this Ezekiel 38, they think that Gog and Magog is going to come and do Israel, and that's their main target, you know. But that's not what it's talking about, you know. Well, they actually are going to wind up going over there as well too. But the main foe of Russia in this Ezekiel 38 and Gog and Magog war is talking about against America. All right, as you can see, and just some of the things to point out. Why the hell is Russia developing all these damn new technology? Like, this is not just a bigger bomb that they making. All right, they have missiles like for one, the Satan 1 or the Saramat 1 missile. All right, the Saramat 1 or the Satan 1 missile. All right, this thing here is like, for one, it's got multiple nuclear warheads on the inside of it. All right, it's an intercontinental ballistic missile with multiple warheads on the inside. All right, the Satan 2 missile. Right now, the Satan 2 has it's pretty much the same thing, but it has like the capabilities of redirecting. All right, because it's pretty easy to shoot a missile out of the sky, you know, because normally just like a regular bow and arrow, you shoot an arrow, it has a trajectory rate. You know, it goes up and it arches at a certain degree. And if you can calculate that, you can see exactly where it's going to be at what time. Right. And then you can shoot something off onto the same course and you can impact it. All right. But nevertheless, with this Satan 2 missile, all right, once you go ahead and dial in a trajectory rate and you fire off your missile to knock it out of the sky, that missile will wind up, how do you say, maneuvering out of the path. You know, it'll change its path. So you've already shot off your missile. Now it's changing path, so it'll never hit. Right. Then you have, I believe it's called the avant-garde, which is this, almost like a triangle. Right. It's the hypersonic missile that they have. All right. But nevertheless, now dealing with that, you have to understand that with the current missile defense systems that you have going on now is once they launch, all right, they launch them. They're going to be able to detect these launches, for one, you know, with radar and certain things, especially if they shoot ICBM, they can definitely detect those things. All right. But nevertheless, with these things, you have to be able to detect them. You have to be able to get your equipment up and ready to roll. All right. And then you have to be able to launch, you know, find the coordinates of where it's, you know, the target, where it's going to hit. And you have to get your things in position and then shoot your things off and hope that you have enough time to be able to react to this. All right. Now, all this is on the, you know, at the brink of a moment, because they're not going to let you know, yo, we're going to launch tomorrow at 12 o'clock. They're going to wind up just launching on your ass, and everybody got to, oh, we got to check and recheck, make sure this is not a false flag or whatever, whatnot. So your time is kind of shortened, but then at the same time, these missiles are coming from, you know, well, how Russia has theirs. Mostly everything that they have is still in Russia. You know, they're not like America, where, you know, America has NATO right up on the doorsteps of Russia, you know, so Russia has to launch from Russia. All right. But nevertheless, with Russia's new development of this hypersonic missiles and things like that, like I said, you already got a short amount of time to go ahead and react and try to defend yourself, right? But nevertheless, with these hypersonic missiles, all right, where they saying like, I believe 20 times the speed of sound, all right, you're not going to hear that shit coming, all right? And by the time you do see it or try to react from it, it's like you have a shorter amount of time to try to reposition your weapons to try to knock this thing out the sky. And plus, this thing is not very big. It's kind of small. It's really small. You know, you're trying to hit a smaller target, you know, it's like you trying to damn, you know, if somebody was to throw a basketball at your face, you can kind of swat that because it's a pretty big object coming towards your face. Now, if somebody was to shoot a bullet towards your face, it's kind of, you know, forget about the speed that it's coming at. This is something really, really small, or, you know, like a little fly or a mosquito flying around your face. And that's a smaller target for you to try to hit, you know, but nevertheless, this thing is coming in at the speed of a bullet. It's like, yo, by the time you hear the damn bullet leave you know, you hear the gunshot sound, you know, that bullet probably didn't, depending on how far you are, the bullet had already made its impact before you even hear the damn bullet sound, you know? That's why, like, sometimes you see, you know, if you're ever around, like, you know, guns and things going off like that, and you, like, let's say you at the shooting range, by the time you hear that damn gun go off, right, and then you see the muzzle flash and all that, that bullet didn't already hit its target. You see what I'm saying? That's traveling super fast. But these missiles is traveling faster than that. You see what I'm saying? But nevertheless, you know, it's kind of hard to hit these types of missiles. All right. Then they have nuclear powered missiles, cruise missiles. All right, which is their fuel source, meaning that they basically have an unlimited range. You know, where they could just where they could fly indefinite. You see what I'm saying? Then they also have the S-500 Prometheus system that, you know, they still developing. They got the 500 and the S-700 system they developing. All right, now the I believe it's S-700 is basically can detect when you on a damn launch pad, all right, and knock your shit out before you even launch, all right, from wherever you at, anywhere in the world, all right. That thing there is going to basically have an unlimited range, all right. But nevertheless, as you see all these things coming out, oh, not to mention the they have the these nuclear powered submarines, all right. That's a dangerous thing, and plus drone submarines, because just think about this. They can put in a unlimited amount of drone submarines inside the ocean where they don't have to have human beings in there. They can control them by remote control, and they can leave them underwater forever. You see what I'm saying? Just imagine having a submarine that you submerge under the water and have it just patrolling for 100 years straight. You see what I'm saying? And it's just, hey, the missiles is still going to be good in there, and it's always going to have fuel on there. You don't have to keep feeding people that's inside this submarine and things like that, because this thing is indefinite, and they say it can go deeper than most submarines anyway. So I mean, they can really be having these things just sitting around America, so on and so forth, whereas America need military bases in these other countries, and you can see them and so on and so forth. But with these submarines, you know, they can have an unlimited these submarines just sitting on the coastline. You see what I'm saying? But nevertheless, this is all the technology that Russia is developing right now. All right. And just as you think, you know, speaking back on this Israel, why would they be developing all this technology just to take Israel out? You know, if that's their main target, why are they doing all this to take out Israel? Like, yo, you know that they could just drop like one to two nukes on Israel, and that shit is gone off the face of the earth, man. Israel's not that big. All right. Israel is like damn near the size of New Jersey. All right. That place is not that big over there. All right. And plus it's not that very many people over there. So literally Russia could take out or hell, North Korea could take out Israel. You see what I'm saying? Now Israel do have missile defense systems and so on and so forth, and you know they do have America backing them. But just like I said, in reality, if Russia wanted to hit them, they could have taken their old technology and just bombarded them with enough goddamn missiles that they couldn't defend themselves. You see what I'm saying? Like literally, if they drop 100 missiles on Israel at once, they ain't but so big, and they don't have that many missile defense systems to be able to combat with all that all at one time. All right, that's just too much hitting them all at once. So Russia is not preparing with all of this stuff just to go and take out Israel. All right, that's not even a threat for them. All right, they're number one. Which we're gonna get in here. Their number one target. They're being brought forth to wage war on America. All right, so we're gonna jump into these here scriptures, and it's basically gonna confirm these things. All right, so this is Ezekiel 38. I'm starting verse 1. And the word of Yahawah came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith Yahweh power, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. All right, and now for some people that might be listening or whatever, whatnot, who may think that because when we speak, sometimes it may seem that we speaking in we speaking in the good light of Russia. Now we're not on the side of Russia by no means. They Edomites as well too. But however, we know according to these scriptures and the prophecies that Russia's, which we're about to read now, that Russia's going to lead charge against destroying America. All right. And that's all a part of the Most High's will, as we're reading right here. So we are cheering forth the Most High's will. We don't give a damn about Russia. All right. They Edomites too. They going into captivity and they're going to be slaves just as well too. All right. To basically, you know what I mean? They just as bad as these Edomites over here. All right. But we know that the Lord is putting a spirit on them to take America out. All right. That's the only reason that you would so-called probably hear us speaking in Russian a good light. But by no means are we saying, oh, yeah, the Russians, this and that, and so on and so forth. Man, they Edomites as well, too, man. They going to wind up going into captivity as well. All right. But nevertheless, just getting back into this this so-called arms race that they got going on and what all this is dealing with. All right. So it says verse 3, Ezekiel 38:3 says, And thus saith Yahweh power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. And so the Most High basically, he's saying he's against them. All right. But he's going to use them. All right. As in the movie with the Batman and the Dark Knight, right. With the Joker, right. They have the scene where they robbing the bank. The Joker got all these guys dressed up in clown masks and they all robbing the bank. So he's using them to do his bidding to help him get what he need to get. But at the end of the bank robbery scene, you see him, they wind up killing off everybody. So it's basically, he's the last one left. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's basically what you got going on over here. The Most High is using, you know what I'm saying? Like the Joker used these other clowns, all right, to help him rob the bank. But at the end, they was part of the enemy too. They're like, well, shit, I was in there killing the people up in the bank. But at the end of the day, once I'm done with you guys, y'all gonna be exterminated too. I don't really care about y'all. I'm just using you to get what I need. All right. So it says, verse 4, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. And I will, let me go back to that. It says, I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. So again, when you go back to Russia, like I said, after the fall of the Soviet Union and things like that, all right, there was a collapse in Russia, all right, economically and militarily, all right. They pretty much sat on the shelf and was getting cobwebs and dust put up on top of them, all right. And like I said, it wasn't until about, like, I want to say either 2008 or somewhere around there, where Vladimir Putin pretty much came into office and started working on first the economy, the infrastructure, production and manufacturing and things like that, import, export and trades. And they started bringing Russia back up into the forefront. All right. Now, recently you start seeing what Russia, getting that military might, getting their military equipment, up to par. All right. Now, when you go back into history, all right, Russia ain't no joke, man. All right, so I believe it in history, Russia has never been conquered by any nation. All right, I believe that's one of their so-called feats, that Russia has never been conquered by any nation. All right, but nevertheless, and this is why, you know, America is doing having to do the things that they doing this way. All right, they trying to mount up with everybody else up against them. All right, and also this is, you know, the planet of the Most High. All right, ultimately this is the Most High script. But nevertheless, like I said, Russia had that you know, after the Cold War. And out of its, you know, superpower times, because like when you go to World War II, man, Russia was dominating, man. You see what I'm saying? So Russia was a force to be reckoned with. But then you had the fall of the Soviet Union, right? The USSR, right? At this point in time, Russia wound up losing some territory and things like that. You know, that's where you have these other countries that's developed over there right now. All right, and they're no longer part of you know, what they call the U.S. Soviet states of Russia, I believe, the USSR. All right. But nevertheless, you know, and like I said, they had that huge military at that point in time where they was waging world war. You see what I'm saying? Not to say waging world war, but they was participating as, you know what I'm saying? They're like, yo, hey, we strapped, we good. What y'all want to do? And everybody else have to gang up against them. All right. But nevertheless, like I said, after the fall of the Soviet Union and throughout the Cold War, all right, America wound up pretty much putting Russia under. All right. You seen the fall of the USSR, the Soviet Union. Then you had pretty much what you would know of as Russia. All right. But now what's going on again? Russia is becoming back into that same USSR state. All right. They're starting to, how do you say, gain allies and stuff like that, becoming strengthened again. All right. Not only that, they're building up their infrastructure again. All right. Then on top of that, which can finance their military equipment, their military endeavor. All right. So this is what you see the Most High putting them hooks back into their jaw, bringing them back to the damn battlefield. No, you know how they say Russia, you know, a lot of people reference Russia as the bear, right? You know, Russia is this bear, you know, and one thing is the bear, you know, what a bear does is a bear, he'll go to sleep and he'll hibernate for a while. All right. So you got this big vicious bear that's over here devouring things, but there's a point in time where that bear goes to sleep and he hibernates. All right. And so that was pretty much the state that Russia was in. All right. After the fall of the Soviet Union and the end of the Cold War, Russia went into so-called hibernation. But now, as America is over here, plundering the whole planet Earth, all right, and invading all these damn countries, Russia see what's going on. You know, they talking about, you know, with, the deals that they made with Gorbachev, talking about we're not going to move one inch closer towards basically Russia, you know, as they starting to surround them. Now this bear is waking up. They're like, yo, man, I'm trying to sleep, get my hibernation on, and all I hear is all this goddamn loud ass music. You know what I'm saying? Like you in the house, you kind of you sleep and you starting to toss and turn or whatever, whatnot. You know, you peeking open one eye, trying to figure out what the hell is going on. That's Russia and the bear. So now the bear's starting to wake up and he's like, man, what the hell is going on? Why are these people surrounding me? Hold up. Now I'm in my defensive posture. All right. So now this is what you're starting to see now. What Russia's getting into this defensive posture. They getting them hooks put back to their jaw, bringing them back to that, you know, how they say, I forgot what was the term they use. Maybe that, the Red Scare or whatever, where they talking about, basically the Soviet Union, you know, Russia, you know, USSR, they getting back into that, that state. All right. But nevertheless, continuing on, Ezekiel 38:4 says, I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. I will bring thee forth. All right. Come on back to the battlefield. All right. And all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor. All right. So let me keep reading. Even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. All right. So a couple things in here that like when you read about a lot of this stuff, when you go through and you start to look at a lot of these things, man, hey man, the Most High has got all this documented, every single thing to the detail, man. All right, it says, I will bring thee forth in all thy army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company of bucklers and shields. Now, what is America pissed off with Russia about when it comes to military, when it comes to the military, you know, before all these offensive weapons started coming out? They mad with a lot of, America's mad with a lot of its allies and Russia because, wow, they starting to purchase these missile defense systems, all right? These S-200, 300, 400 systems, all right? This was going on in, well, hell, this pretty much stopped all the damn, a lot of the bombing over there in Syria with the sale of the S-300. Turkey want the S-400. Saudi Arabia want the S-400. All right. All these countries want these missile defense systems to basically protect them, all right, from incoming strikes. All right. So what would that be in modern day terms? You know, when you go back in the old days, why did they walk around with shields? To protect them from it was a defense from a incoming offensive strike, whether it be from you know, matter of fact, go think back to the movie 300. Where they was talking about they was gonna fight in the shadows or whatever, whatnot, and then Xerxes and them ran up on them, and then they all took their archers and they, you know, shot all the arrows into the sky. The sun was blotted out with the arrows, and then they just took cover up under their shields. All right. Fast forward to today, it's the same shit. You know, those bow and arrows is no longer bow and arrow shot from men's arms, it's missiles shot out of silo bases. All right. They still, hey, the arrows are still shaped the same way. All right. But then you have, like I said in the movie 300, they was being shot with these bow and arrows. All right. How did they guard themselves from those arrows? They put up their shields. The shields took the brunt of those things and wound up stopping the arrows. The modern day shield today is what? These missile defense systems. All right. So this is some of the things that, you know, like, hey, why are they detailing these things heavily inside the scriptures like that? They tell them, oh, you gonna come. Let me read it again. Ezekiel 38:4. I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. Russia coming back into this military state, the arms race, where they at now. I will bring thee forth in all thy army, horses, horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. So what? These missile defense systems, all right, they also can be used as offensive sword. All right, you can just, instead of just being on a defensive strike, you can put them on an offensive strike, because now, I mean, the way that they work now, it's like they're pretty much autonomous, right? You know, you got, like, one truck is a radar truck and it'll intercept, you know, something flying in, you know, and another truck will pick up that and then get its trajectory rate, and then another truck, it'll send a signal to the third truck. The third truck will just launch off the missiles to hit it, right? But nevertheless, and this is all pretty much being done by itself, just by picking up the radar, you know, the radar picking it up. However, you can actually take these damn the same equipment, all right, use the radar, whatever, whatnot, and you can manually pinpoint the target you want and manually fire these things off, making it an offensive weapon. All right. So it's like Vladimir Putin says, you know, they talking about America with their systems and their missile defense systems all up on their doorsteps. And, you know, America's retort is, oh, no, it's just defensive, whatever, whatnot. And Russia's like, yo, man, all you got to do is upgrade your software and y'all can literally just launch this as an offensive strike, because, you know what I'm saying, the way it works now is just, yo, incoming missiles come in and just take off. But you can literally sit here and manually control this and shoot at whoever you want. All right. But nevertheless, going into these missile defense systems, S-300, 400, 500, 700, you know. But nevertheless, continuing on, it says, I will bring thee back and put forth Salakia. I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thy army. All right, talking about this massive army, right? Horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. All right. Persia, Ethiopia. Now, Persia is what? Iran. All right. Persia, Ethiopia, Libya, with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all his bands, the house of Tomagah, and of the north quarters and all his bands, and many people with them. All right. Dealing with what? You got a lot of these so-called Islamic nations or whatever, whatnot. You got like Turkey and Syria and all these people. But what? It's saying basically this big entourage of a military, like not only you got Russia's got a huge military, right? But you got Russia and Iran has a huge military and a pretty decent military at that. All right. Iran ain't no hoe, man. Iran got a decent military, and Iran is way bigger than what you think it is. All right. They just portray Iran as a small country when you see Iran on maps and things like that. All right. But it says Persia, Ethiopia, Libya, with them, all of them with shields and helmet. Gomer and all of his bands, the house of Tomagah, and the north quarters, all of them and his bands, and many people with them. So now you got this big entourage or this big conglomeration of nations coming up. You know, and like I said, some people say they gonna go and invade Israel. Like, yo, you don't need all these nations to invade Israel. You see what I'm saying? Israel's not that big. They need all these nations to come up against America. All right. Because like you see, you got Israel over there fearing that, you know, back when I believe Ahmadinejad was in office, they was like, oh, see, they talking about wiping Israel off the face of the earth. And like, yo, y'all scared of Iran, who y'all say don't got a nuclear missile at this point in time, but they trying to develop. Y'all worried about that? So if y'all worried about that, how much more should y'all be worried about Russia, who is the only people comparable in the size of nuclear arsenal with America? You see what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. That's not what they're talking about. All right. But nevertheless, continuing on, it says, verse 7, be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. All right. So Russia it says, be thou prepared. So Russia is preparing themselves. All right. It says, be thou prepared and prepare for thyself. Prepare for thyself. All right. So again, like I was saying before, well, after the Cold War, all right, after the Cold War and before Vladimir Putin came into office, Russia wasn't doing so well. Russia was pretty much just another dusty ass nation. All right. They had pretty much fallen to the hands of America. All right. But what now? Russia is coming back. All right. Like we was reading, the hooks is being put back into his jaw. They was being revived. All right. And who was the person that was reviving all that? Vladimir Putin, right? They're preparing their nation. They're building their nation back up. All right. This is why you see them develop all these new weapons. All right. Out of nowhere. This is the first time since what? Well, I would say since nuclear missiles, ICBMs, but really the first time since we got like drones. I believe drones. You got drones and robots and like AI, but really AI is still coming up new right now. But since like the drone warfare, I mean, they didn't have drones since I believe like the 70s or the 80s or something like that. But nevertheless, this is the newest technology since then. They ain't really had nothing new since like the 70s, right? Like the most of America's military is still running off of equipment from the 70s. Like they running them M1 Abrams tanks, all right, those Black Hawk helicopters, the Apaches and shit like that, man. All this shit is old school, right? The F-35 is pretty damn new, but other than that, everything else that they got is all old. You know, you can go look up America's military infrastructure. All their things are really old. Even their nuclear arsenal is old and outdated. You see what I'm saying? They don't really have nothing really new. All right. But nevertheless, as you see now, Russia's coming out with all this new technology. Oh, you got hypersonic, like, I don't even know if you want to call them hypersonic. It's faster than that shit. But hypersonic missiles, you got missiles that can change its trajectory rate. All right. You also have missiles that can carry multiple warheads. All right. Come on, man. This is all new technology that Russia's got. All right. But continuing on, it says, be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and thou shalt be a guard unto them. And that's what you see Russia doing right now. All right. That's what these news articles that you see, in the news and things like that. All right. Now let me quickly just get to, I don't want to make this too long. Let me quickly get into Jeremiah 50 real fast, just to kind of point out that this is being, done in preparations for America, not for they're not preparing all these nations just to go and invade Israel. Come on, man. It fucking don't make no sense. And even if it did, all Russia would have to do is like, yo, we're going to send one of our smallest nations to go over there and attack Israel. All right. And then when because America going to come to their aid regardless. Right. So once America come to their aid, then we're going to go and wax America, bringing you right back full circle, back around to why Russia and all these other countries are banding together basically to take America out. All right. This is who America, Russia, we have America, NATO, and the EU's #1 arch enemy is. All right. So you have like the whore and the beast. The whore's riding on top of the beast. Who's their #1 enemy? Besides, you know, they against Israel, obviously. Well, the Israelites. All right. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. But we ain't got no military was kind of like stopping them and doing nothing like that. All right. They about to start fighting, you know, head to head on the world stage of World War III between what? Babylon. How you say, the whore and the beast, which is Babylon and how do I want to say, how do I want to put this? Babylon and basically the beast, right? Which is, again, to translate, Babylon the Great being America, the beast and the rest of these motherfuckers is what? And how you say, NATO and the EU. All right. So this is, you know, NATO and the EU is the beast that America's riding on. They're using them also, as well as, you know, because you got NATO and the like NATO, right? NATO is, America sends a small portion of their troops into being NATO, but NATO is a huge fucking military. Like America, I believe, have, you know, like 1 million active soldiers, you know, in their military. All right. And about right under 1 million in reserves. You see what I'm saying? But NATO itself, which is not one huge military in its own. It's like all these different, everybody that's a member of it, they give a small percentage of their troops. Let's just say 10%. You got, let's just say hypothetically, you got 10 different nations that give 10% of their soldiers. Now they got a soldier with 100% of troops, but yet these other nations is only missing. They got 90% of their troops. They only sold out 10% of their troops. So you see, they still got a big military on their own, but then collectively they even got a bigger military. All right. And who are they up against? Russia. All right. Russia and China and these other nations. All right. The ones that we was just reading about. But nevertheless, let me continue on. It says, Jeremiah 51, the word that Yahweh spake against Babylon and against the land of the Chaldeans by Jeremiah the prophet. Declare ye among the nations and publish and set up a standard. And that's what we'll be doing right now, man. We're on the highways and the byways and on these here video epistles, letting you know we publishing them. Like right now, when I get done with this video, I got to go on YouTube, upload it, and publish it. All right, publishing this out to the nation so any and everybody can see it. And when you see us on the highways and the byways on the weekends, we out there in the midst of the city, and we prophesying these things into the nations that's walking by. All right, so it's made public. All right, we letting you know the things that you like when you watch the news, you don't understand what's going on. They just saber rattling. No, they preparing for war. This is the end of you Edomites over here in Babylon the Great and all the rest of the world. All right. But nevertheless, it says, declare ye among the nations and publish and set up a standard, publish and conceal not. So don't hide this. The Most High done gave you this breakdown, these breakdowns of these things, man. Don't be trying to hide this. This ain't no, I mean, for instance, you could say this is like the Illuminati, the secret society and stuff like that. But on the right hand side, see the left hand side, they got their little secrets and stuff. We on the other side, bro. We the elites on this side, but we let you know every damn thing. We don't hide nothing. You see what I'm saying? We got our whole plan, the whole shebang. You see what I'm saying? We having our secret society meetings right here, right now, bro. You on the inside of a secret society meeting. All you got to do is have the spirit on you to be able to understand these things that's going on, man. But it's nothing that's hidden, man. We put this up on the YouTube for anybody to see this. Even the enemies, they can sit here and see this and see the whole game plan, man. Break this down. You know, we exposing ourselves, man. This is what the Most High told us to do. Take this and expose every damn thing. Let it all out. Don't hide nothing. All right. Jeremiah 50:2. Declare ye among the nations and publish and set up a standard. Publish and conceal not. Say Babylon is taken, Bel is confounded, Merodach is broken in pieces, her idols are confounded, her images are broken in pieces. All right. For out of the north there cometh up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein. They shall remove, they shall depart, both man and beast. All right. So what is this land of the north? All right. Russia is being named in the scriptures under a couple different names. All right. The land of the north, the land of Magog. You know what I'm saying? The Medes. You see what I'm saying? Now, when you go into these these different lands or these different names and stuff, it's all talking about Russia. All right. So continuing on, it says, for out of the north there cometh up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein, and there shall remove and they shall depart, both man and beast. Let me go back up. This says, all right. So verse 2 clearly tells you this is talking about Babylon, right? What is the land north of Babylon? Well, you would say, be simple with it. Oh, Canada. Canada is not a part of this shit, man. Canada finna get waxed too, man. You don't see Canada waging no war up against, America. All right. It's nothing like that popping off. All right. But nevertheless, it says, for out of the north, there cometh up a nation, against her. All right. And another way that, America, or Russia can attack America is what? Through the North Pole, right? They can shoot their missiles up and over the North Pole, which is a lot shorter route. For one, they can hit that from the North Pole, right? It's a short route over the North. All right. And then they can also come around, pretty much through like Alaska, right? They're not that far. I want to say like 25 miles or some shit like that from Alaska. They can hit Alaska over there, not that far. Then they can come from the other side. They can basically come from all sides and hit America from all sides. All right. They're not to say that far, but there's certain ways that they can come. You know, the shortest route, I believe, is straight over through the north, you know, coming over the North Pole. All right. But it says, verse 4, in those days and at that time shall say Yahweh, let me skip because, let me see. Let me start at, verse 9. For lo, I will raise him the cause to come up against Babylon, an assembly of great nations from the north country. Now, what do we just read in Ezekiel 38? Take thou and thyself and a great company that is with you. It's going to be a great nation. It's going to be a world war, basically. It's not going to be one nation against one nation. You're not going to see Russia versus America like that. All right. That's not going to happen. All right. We about to go. And as you know, some of these low level Christians and shit like that, we going to go into Armageddon and World War III. That's prophesied. Yeah, this is not between two nations, man. World war is between multiple nations. All right. So what you have here is you got Russia, what we just read in Ezekiel 38, Russia and a conglomeration of nations that they just named, which is the same nations that you see on the news right now that Russia has got up under their wing. And these are all the enemies and the people that America is basically coming up against, like, oh, y'all fucking with Russia. This is whoop-de-whoop, whoop-de-whoop. You see, as you see it playing out on the news, all right, this is how why some people don't get this and understand this, because it's only for the elect to understand. All right, you see this being played out on the news, but people can't relate this to the scriptures because they see in America and Russia going into World War III, but then when they go into the scriptures, they tend to think that America's not in the scriptures. All right, they tend to think that Babylon is talking about somewhere Saudi Arabia or the Vatican or some shit like that. But like, you don't see Russia, you know, threatening and pointing they missiles and stuff at these different nations and Saudi Arabia and shit. They telling you flat out, like, yo, dog, we gonna wipe y'all ass off the face of the earth. We making videos targeting America. Like, yo, just earlier this week, they was like, yo, if we was gonna hit America, here's our targets, you know, Camp David and this spot and that spot and so on and so forth, you know. These are the things that Russia is clearly saying. It's like, yo, our number one enemy is what? America, you know. They saying, like, our number one enemy in the long run is what? Russia. All right, eventually we're going to go to a thermonuclear warfare. This is what you see them preparing. So in a carnal sense, in the outwardly sense, you just watching the news, you see these two nations gang banging on each other. They the ones squatting up and getting their posses. America trying to get everybody on their side. That's why they beefing with Turkey and shit. Like, nah, y'all supposed to be our allies. Y'all can't be buying the Russian shit. You over here switching sides on us. All right. Then Russia's on the other side. Like, look, man, y'all tired of fucking with America? Like, i.e., the Philippines. Oh, y'all tired of dealing with America? Y'all can come buy guns from us. Y'all can come over here on our side. We'll get y'all strapped. We'll lace y'all with the shit that y'all need. According to the scripture, that's what the scriptures say, man. The scriptures say that Russia was going to be a guard to these other nations. Russia was going to be that goddamn titty that was everybody else was going to be drinking off of. You got two separate titties. You got Babylon the Great Whore. Then you got, you know, Russia the barrel on the other side. You see what I'm saying? Which titty you gonna drink off of? That's the two different titties you can drink off of. You can either be being stockpiled by the Americans or you can be being stockpiled by the Russians. But at the end of the day, there's gonna be a battle between these two superpowers to see who gonna prevail. All right. Well, shit. Let me just read this all the way down. Verse 9, Jeremiah 50:9. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. All right. That's what you see going on right now with Russia. Here's a key word. From thence she shall be taken. All right. Meaning from the north country, Babylon gonna be taken from the north country. All right. And it says their arrows shall be as a mighty men. Their arrows shall be as of men, shall be as of mighty expert men. None shall return in vain. This is really, like I said, the Most High got this shit down to a T, man. All right. It says from thence she shall be taken. So Babylon gonna be taken from the land of the north, from the position of the land of the north, from Russia. Russia gonna take America from Russia. What does that mean? All right, they're gonna shoot their arrows at them. Well, what does that mean? It means they're gonna launch ICBM missiles, intercontinental ballistic missiles, from one continent to another continent. They're gonna shoot these arrows from one continent to... Russia's not gonna be all up in America like that and like, yo, we're gonna fuck y'all up from the inside. No, they're gonna be from where they at and they're gonna wind up launching their missiles over there. All right, and it says the arrow shall be as a mighty expert man, none shall return in vain. All right. Meaning, and then you also read about where it says all ye archers that bend the bow. Let me see. Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Let me just get to that now. Well, let me read this. Verse 10. And Chaldea shall be a spoil. All that spoil her shall be satisfied, saith Yahawah. Let me just get to verse 14. Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all ye that bend the bow. Shoot at her and spare no arrows, for she have sinned against Yahawah. All right. So basically, when you put these scriptures together, like they say, from thence she shall be taken with this strong arrow, and none shall return in vain. All ye archers that bend the bow, shoot at her, spare none. Meaning all these missiles are going to be launched on America. All right. Now, looking into all this, you got what? Russia's got this system. It's a pretty old system, but nevertheless, they got this system called the dead hand system. All right. Meaning that if there was no human beings left in Russia at all, and you know, anybody, whatever country it has to be, decides to launch a nuclear strike on Russia, all right, one missile will wind up shooting up into the air, all right? Now, this missile is pretty much just like a beacon. You know, it has a receiver in there, a transmitter in there. Now, this here missile goes up and it transmits the signal out to all the other, all the other ICBM missiles that they got, all the missiles that they got. these missiles are pre-programmed to not only hit the striking nation, but all of Russia's enemies. All right, so this is called a dead hand system, meaning it don't need no human beings to be like I said, there don't have to be no human beings in Russia. This system take off on its own with ground sensors and everything like that. If it detected it's been hit, it just send up one of these transmitting missiles that sit there and launch out all the other missiles. All right, so when you go into how the scriptures say, spare not, let me read that again, verse 14. Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all ye that bend the bow. So everybody with missiles, they gonna wind up, let me keep reading. It says, shoot at her, spare no arrows. All right, so at the end of all of this, ain't nobody gonna be like, yo, shit, we still got some thermonuclear missiles left. Oh, we still got some missiles left. Nah, they gonna take everything that they got, and they gonna launch everything that they got. Everybody who got missiles, they gonna wind up launching them all. All right. And that's to even include if Russia wound up using a dead hand system, because it's not going to be like Russia going to launch an attack, wind up destroying America, and they still got that dead hand system. No, this shit, they going to wind up losing out, man. All right. So it says, verse 15, shout against her round about. She has given her hand. Her foundations are fallen. Her walls are thrown down. For it is the vengeance of Yahweh. She have, take vengeance upon her as she have done. Do unto her. All right. Let me see. Going back into let me just start verse 22. It says Jeremiah 15:22, a sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. And that's what you see on the news and these videos we putting out, like, yo, blowing the trumpet, wars is coming up. All right. Verse 23, how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How has Babylon become a desolation of nations? So we know that Babylon is the hammer of the whole earth. All right. But that's speaking biblically. Right now, let's fast forward, or let's take it into what you see today. What nation on the planet earth is hammering down all the other nations on the planet earth? It would be America. America's the one putting sanctions on all these other nations. America is currently right now hammering down Venezuela, still hammering down Syria, still hammering down Iraq. All right. Still hammering down all these other nations, man. All right. America is Babylon the Great. All right. And who is coming up to challenge America? Russia. All right. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How has Babylon become a desolation among the nations? I have laid a snare for thee. Thou art taken, O Babylon, thou was not aware. Thou art found and caught because thou hast striven against Yahweh. Yahweh has opened his armory and brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of Yahweh in the Yahweh of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans. All right. So, he says, Yahweh have opened his armory and have brought forth the weapons of his indignation, his righteous judgment. All right. He got to cleanse the land. How do you cleanse the thing? With fire, right? The Lord's going to cleanse this here land. All right. This is where you talk about the lake of fire and the smoke going to ascend up forever and ever. This land is wholly polluted. It's nothing but, man, this is the place where Satan's seat is at, man. This is why this place is going to be turned into a goddamn lake of fire and it's never going to be inhabited again. All right. And the Lord is going to bring out his weapons of his indignation. All right. These ICBM missiles, these thermonuclear missiles, man. The holy cleanse anything. All right. And there's no stopping these weapons. This is the Lord's weapons of indignation. Like they say, I've created the smith that bloweth the coals, that bringeth forth the Lord's weapons of his indignation. All right. Talking about Oppenheimer and I believe it was Einstein or whatever that was creating those things when Oppenheimer was like, now I've become death and a destroyer of nations. All right. Talking about, hey, that's who he is, the so-called white man, the death and the destroyer of nations, all right? But nevertheless, he brought forth that weapon of the Lord's indignation. He done brought forth, that's a snare that the most, let me read that again. Verse 24, I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art taken. See, so-called white man, or these Americans came, well, really it was the Germans who developed these nuclear weapons, right? But it was America America and Russia, they both wound up taking them, all right? And America wound up, America and Russia, but America was the ones that wound up using these nuclear weapons. So they had the edge of it. This is how they want to put everybody else in subjection with the fear of those weapons, right? And so they was like, yeah, since we got these, we demand and ain't nobody gonna challenge us. But see, you caught with in your own trick bag, man. The Most High done laid a trap for your ass, right? You over here pressing up on everybody with these damn missiles and everything. All you doing is making everybody else mad and making them gang up against your ass. And you over here burning bridges with everybody else. And those missiles that you got and you use on everybody else is gonna be ultimately used to eradicate your ass, all right? So let me just keep reading. Verse 25. Yahweh have opened his armory and have brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of Yahweh, power of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans. Come against her from the uttermost borders, open her storehouses and cast her up as heaps and destroy her utterly. Let nothing be left. All right. Let me read verse 29. Call together the archers against Babylon. All ye that bend the bow, camp camp against it round about, and let none thereof escape. Recompense her according to her work, according to all that she have done, do unto her, for she have been proud against Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel. All right. So basically, let me see. Yeah, that was all I wanted to grab in there. But nevertheless, you know, this is just showing forth the things that you see on the news and the things that we prophesy is all coming to pass right here, right now, man. All right. And to clear up all these misconceptions about these things, man. The minute the Lord is out here pushing this here truth and sincerity, and we got the Spirit of the Lord on us, and like the scripture said, there's no guile in our mouth, man. We telling you the 100% truth, man. This is basically we just repeating what the Lord told us, man. All right, this is not nothing about our own this and that, or because we like Russia or we hate America, whatever. No, this is just what's in the scriptures, man. And we just bringing it out, and we showing it to you, and we proving it to you with not only the scriptures, but also with what you see out in the so-called politics in the world and things like that. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and close out with this. Lord willing, this here lesson was edifying unto the elect. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahawah, Bahashim, Yahawashah, Bahashim, Rachakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, I can push this truth and sincerity in the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Till next time, I say, stay strong and shalom.